Half in the back. I'm so sick of talking about movies.
Nurse Naughty. I don't think she's a real nurse.
Hey, sorry I'm late, but just got back from the Cleveland Comic-Con. I had to get Lou Ferrigno's autograph.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I just didn't have time when we were in Chicago, and he so rarely does conventions. So, what are you working on?
Oh, I just mounted a shelf. Remember all the cool stuff all the other vendors at Chicago Comic-Con were giving us?
No, I don't.
Really? It just happened. Well, anyway, I thought it'd be cool to display it all here.
Well, you realize that this is not your house, right? And that you probably shouldn't be mounting a shelf in someone else's house.
What are you talking about?
What you're doing is unethical and illegal. So if these people gave us this stuff, what did we give them in return? It wasn't money, was it?
Oh, God, no.
Oh, thank God.
We gave them copies of our movie Feeding Frenzy. Don't you remember anything? You know, all this stuff is pretty neat. I wonder what all those vendors thought of Feeding Frenzy.
Hello and welcome to Half in the Bag. I'm Mike.
And I'm Jay.
And on this episode, we'll be recapping our recent trip to the Chicago Comic-Con.
That's right, it was 4 days of madness. Comic books, Q&A panels, artists, celebrities, and Ray Park.
And of course, as always, we brought along our trusty video camera to document the weekend's events. Hey, we're here at the 2011 Chicago Comic-Con. This is Friday. The Comic-Con just started. There's a baby and a thing. Oh, go ahead. We've got 2 more days of exciting comic book adventures.
So, Mike, what is Comic-Con?
Comic-Con is basically a giant room where everyone tries to take your money.
Mm-hmm.
It's also a place where you could meet your favorite comic book artists, celebrities, or, browse some of the dealer tables and look for useless junk you don't need.
Hey, everybody. Here I am standing next to a whole bunch of future landfill.
If you're looking for a little Nicky action figure, it's the place to be.
So, Jay, what was your general impression of the Chicago Comic-Con?
It was fun. It was very crowded. Very, very crowded. We've done a few of these conventions, but not one that was quite this big before.
Right.
And
This was definitely the biggest.
It was definitely the biggest, and it was packed.
We're here at 2000.
You might be in this area.
So for those of you who have never been to Comic-Con, and I assume most of our viewers probably have, it generally breaks down like this. There's a section which we call the Celebrity Zoo.
Welcome to the Celebrity Zoo, where careers come to die.
Which features actors and entertainers and people like that will sign autographs for you, and you can talk to them. They will do this for free.
Oh, for free? I don't think that's what you meant to say.
You're right, I'm sorry. What I meant to say was cash. But for free, you can have Christopher Lloyd chew food in your face.
So yeah, the Celebrity Zoo section is very odd. It feels like a zoo, like it's called, or a museum, where everyone has their little display and their name is there, and it's very like, you feel awkward. Like, you don't want to make eye contact with them unless you're willing to give them money.
Yeah. And you feel weird going up to them and just chatting.
Yeah.
And then, walking away without buying something. Like, you've wasted their time.
Because you know that's what they're thinking.
You've blocked their table from potential other customers, and they're just, looking down at their pictures. Are you going to buy something? Are you going to buy something? It feels like it's a forced human interaction.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
psychologically it's a little strange, because they do look like they're things on display.
Yeah.
Remember this person from this show? Here they are in this section.
Yeah, especially when there's nobody around their table, then it really feels like the unloved exhibit at the museum.
Go to Star Trek conventions a lot. I said that out loud.
You're actually admitting to that?
Yeah, I did when I was younger, and they were creation entertainment conventions, and they were a little different because there was always like one big celebrity that would come, one big Star Trek star, one or two would come, and then the day would go where you'd get let into the convention, and you'd go around and buy things, and there'd be a couple little events happening. They'd play a music video, or they would do trivia, or something like that. But everything would lead up to like 5 p.m. when the Star Trek star would come on stage, talk for a bit, do a Q&A, and then they would sign autographs at a table at the end.
Okay.
Everyone would get in line, and it would feel kind of like a big event.
Sure.
And Comic-Con's a little different, and I understand the difference. Like when you have so many stars, you can't do that. But that's why it feels weird. It felt more like an event. Like, here's the big star, but when you reduce them to sitting in a cage, that you can just walk by and ignore them.
Yeah.
And it's like, why would these actors sign up to do this? You have to think are they desperate for cash?
Yeah.
And that's another thing that runs through your mind too. And it does feel like you're exploiting them.
Yeah.
Like you're putting someone on display. It's almost like modern day slavery.
Find a copy of the Star Wars Holiday Special? Hi, I'd like to buy a copy of the Star Wars Holiday Special. You don't have it?
Sorry, Mr. Lucas, don't have it.
All right. All right. Hi, I'd like to purchase a copy of the Star Wars Holiday Special. My name is Paul Superman. Do you have any copies of the Star Wars Holiday Special?
Of course we do. There you go.
I'll take every one you have.
In my reviews, I have used my fair share of foul language, because I do honestly believe that profanity is sometimes the best way to convey an idea, and for me, sometimes profanity is the only way to convey how much a movie bothers me. But saying fuck you to the writers and or directors of these movies, as I sometimes do, doesn't really amount to much. It makes me feel better and it gets my point across, but it's not really going to hurt anyone, or at least I sincerely hope it doesn't. It is at best petty and immature, and if any of the writers or directors ever heard me say fuck you in my reviews, they would likely and justifiably just ignore it. But what about slurs? Is there a difference between telling someone to go fuck themselves and referring to someone as any number of slurs? I think there is, but the proponents of removing certain language from our entertainment and everyday speech don't seem to make that distinction. And that is an issue that has been running around in my mind for a while, so I figure I would finally just knuckle down and get this all out in a video. There are those in society and in the media who would like to see certain kinds